All right, the LA Chargers get the first bad news of the offseason. And if you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but this channel fully dedicated to the Chargers. So if you're a Chargers fan, definitely want to be subscribed. Would appreciate that. Okay, here it is. Article came out talking about how the Chargers should fill out the remainder of the roster. And here's what you're going to learn. And we'll go through this quickly. We won't go through every position, but here's what you'll see is that the Chargers have a lot of holes still yet to fill. That's the bad news. And I think you can say both things. I think you can say that you don't fill those in free agency, and also you have a lot of holes. So we're going to look at, we've looked at this a bunch, and we're going to continue to look at this right here. This graphic shows all of your draft picks. So you'll see that there's some problems still on this roster. However, I still think you're still having a good free agency period because you're not overspending, you're not reaching. So let's take a look at it here real quick. If we go here, you go quarterback. Needs right here, no, nothing. Running back, kind of need an RB1B, which I think is a perfect way to put it. You signed and upgraded possibly your running back situation. But look what they said here. The Lions have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. The Ravens, Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. The Bucks, Bucky. They gave you some examples. Fully, you cannot go into the NFL season with one running back. You're going to have to find another really good one. I think that comes through the draft. So that's good. Receiver, you need a rookie future starter and some depth. Well put there. So it's like, all right, we need a running back. We need a wide receiver. Things that we already knew. Tight end, need a depth piece, and you need your star tight end draft as well. But we're running out of draft picks, and you're running out of premium draft picks. Offensive tackle, need some depth. Perfect. Can figure that out. And remember, you can figure this out after the draft too. You can sign free agents. So you can kind of see what do we get, what do we don't get in the draft, and you can pick that up. Interior offensive line. Yikes. Need a starting center. The Chargers gave Bozeman a very minimal contract to stick around, kind of be a depth piece. If Bozeman is the starter in 2025, I hope the Chargers found a new starting left guard, as I would hope the goal wasn't to run it back with one of the worst interior three in the league with just one new face. So remember, they got the really good guard from the Eagles, but there's still work to do with a center. Interior offensive line, you can always use somebody, a headliner, kind of your main guy, 100%. We've got some depth that was added there. Edge rusher, future starter. This will be draft. Linebacker. The linebacker room's pretty set, but you need some depth. Corner, still need like one good corner there. Safety depth. Special teams good. So here's the bad news. Is like, oh crap. Literally have 5 holes that need to be filled. And I think, or I saw it with the Detroit Lions. Lions had the same thing. And now here they are going into 4th or 5th draft. And they're finally at the point where it's like no glaring needs. I think you build through the draft. You just do. And the unfortunate part about that is it's not a quick fix. But you see bad franchises, the Giants, the Panthers, name the franchises that every year the biggest spenders in free agency, trying to fill all of their needs, trying to do it a quick fix way. And it's not how you do it. It's not how you build a good, sustainable team. And I know people are impatient. I fully understand that. But you got to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want to play meaningful games and keep this thing rolling and build it the right way so that you're always good? Or maybe flash in the pan thing, or it could really go bad, crash and burn. You have one good season where those high-priced free agents give you 1 year, but then after that, they're just not what they were at one time. You paid for you paid for their past performance, and now you're really in like a tough spot. So there's needs that the Chargers have, but they're going about it the right way. So if you go here, you can see PFF put out an article about the biggest need after the first wave of free agency. another weapon, 100%. You got Ladd McConkey, Mike Williams. Disley's not going to get it done. Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, fine. Need a playmaker on the outside. Luckily, you got Colston Loveland in the draft, Matthew Golden, Emeka Ibuka. You got options through the draft. It's the slow and right way to go. The other thing that I think is interesting just to see this. This is from PFF as well, and what they did was a power ranking, again, at this point in the offseason. After that free agent first week, where are we at? So Ravens, Eagles, Lions, Bills, Chiefs, Commanders, kind of makes sense, Rams. And so you see this because you want to see where you're at compared to the rest of the league. You're in the top half of the league going into the draft with all of your draft picks. This is the draft. Last year, offseason, was settle things down, get the cap right, figure out our draft picks, do nothing crazy was last year. Just resist the urge to try to be fan favorites, Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh, by making signings and doing things crazy. Just steady Eddie. But this is the year where you got to hit. You got to hit on these. If they do, this team will be good. You'll look in 2 years, 3 years, like, man, this is the draft that did it. They have just a huge opportunity. So, again, go back here. The Chargers took a quiet approach to free agency, but they did get Khalil Mack, Najee Harris, Mike Williams, got some depth pieces on the defensive line. Offensive lineman was huge that you got. So, playmakers beyond Ladd McConkey could remain an issue. So this is what they'll do, in my opinion. You're going to build the trenches again this year in the draft, and then you're going to have to just get playmakers next year. Or you do what the Lions did, and you address the trenches, and you got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round. Then the next year is when you got Jahmyr Gibbs. Everyone laughed at you. He's a star. Those are the things that you could do. Get the trenches, take a flyer on a 4th and 5th round wide receiver, hope that you can. That's just where it's at. So you can't address everything this offseason. You just can't. But remember, the goal is to be a sustainable winner, and you do that by young draft. You don't do that by overspending for older players that are going to give you 1 year maybe, and then it's all over. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see all of you on the next one.